Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. Reiki with Anna. For today's video, we're going to be focusing on balancing, aligning, clearing, cleansing, and just bringing awareness into the third eye space here. I was so excited about your response to the chakra series so far. I mean, I've only had one other video, but it was, you were so lovely in the comment section there, and I got a few messages about it too, so I didn't know what to expect, so thank you. As always, thank you. I'm sending you all a big virtual hug. Hope you're all doing okay, as well as possible. Yeah. So let's go on ahead and get started. I'm going to start with this selenite wand, and I'm just going to comb it through your aura with a little bit of extra love in the third eye. So we're just clearing here anything that's available to be cleared. Clearing and cleansing anything that you might be bringing into this session today, so that we can really align ourselves to that higher self, our wiser self, our most empowered self. It can be very hard to do this kind of spiritual work if we are coming in with all kinds of day-to-day gunk, the common complaints that might be spinning around in your head. Everybody has all kinds of things going on, both kind of the nagging, frustrating aspects of life, and also the really deep, kind of profound discomfort and pain. And so, yeah, maybe if there's anything that's available to be cleared right now, let's just clear that. We're not necessarily saying goodbye forever, we're just clearing it right now for this session. And as always, with all of my sessions, if there's anything that is not in service of your wisest self here, please leave it at the door. Find something that works for you, please. I don't ever want you to feel disempowered or, like not in connection with that wisest self. Okay, so I don't actually own any indigo or purple, so I'm doing the best I can with this oversized man's shirt. also very, very hot in here. So I'm going to be drinking lots of water. But I wanted to create a really safe space for us to explore this third eye connection to wisdom and visions, intuition, so we're going to do a fair amount of kind of clearing, just so we can see very clearly, that our visions can be focused, that we can have that clarity of thought and agency over our thoughts. Today I have some lavender spray, and I'm really, I think this is a great one for the third eye. Frankincense is also great, sandalwood as well. So we're going to be using this, and it still has that little piece of aventurine in it. If you've been here before and seen me use this bottle before. I'm just going to spray to your right, and then spray to your left, and then down at your feet. Then I'll spray my hands. I used a fair amount of lavender, so it's really nice. Very soothing. Okay. There are some birds that you might be hearing. I hope that can be calming and soothing. They have a friendly little song. I like listening to them talk to each other. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to be lighting our incense. I was finally able to get some incense. Thank you so much for your offers to send me some. That's so generous. Unfortunately, I don't have a P.O. box, but I wanted you to know I really appreciate the offer. A lot of you offered, and that was so sweet. I thought about getting a P.O. box just because of that, but so thank you very much. It didn't go unnoticed, is what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. So here's our sandalwood incense. And we are going to set our intention with this, and then I'll be using it to draw the symbols. on behalf of our wisest, most empowered selves, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this distance Reiki session for the collective, for aligning and clearing the third eye, for activating what is underactive, balancing what is out of balance, out of alignment, and for soothing what is overactive. It smells so good. It's been so long since I've had incense. I'm so excited to have some. I purchased some for a session, and I've got more just for you, so I'm really excited. Sandalwood is a great one for the third eye. Okay. Great, so I'm just going to draw the symbols just about a foot from your heart center here. Now I'm just going to use this incense and sort of draw around your etheric field, kind of moving through the energy body here. I so miss how kind of clear the lines are with incense as you're drawing the symbols. I love it. It's such a beautiful, it's very hypnotizing. I'm not sure how it looks on the camera, but in person it's just really stunning and beautiful and very soothing. I'm going to draw the third eye space here, just moving through. So tapping into our intuitive side. I think conversations about intuition are fascinating. There's usually the question of, how do I trust my intuition? How do I distinguish between, thoughts and this inner wisdom or guidance? How do I connect to my intuition and learn when it's my intuition speaking and when it's my kind of another, like an outside, someone else's perspective, or something that we've been kind of taught to feel, think, or do. I think it's a lot about practice for me, just moving through, practicing that trust. I think most trust requires practice, but particularly the kind of trust that's so subtle and internal. And for sure, doubt can muddy the waters. So we're going to invite some clarity and some trust here. Okay. Beautiful. Smells so good. Now I'm just going to start playing around with some stones. The first stone that I'd like to play around with is Amethyst. So I'm going to start out by kind of combing through with this little amethyst cluster. This is one of the first stones I ever got, and I really love it. I keep my rings on it, and I just think it's such a handy tool to have for combing through the aura, for amplifying energies, tapping into that spiritual self. I really like it, and it has a very activated energy to it. So, particularly like this cluster, I find it very energizing. So I'm just going to start here, and we're just going to be moving this through the third eye space. So we've done a bit of cleansing, we've done a little bit of clearing, and so now this is just inviting in that awareness to see, okay, as I comb through, are there any tangles? Are there any knots? Is there anything that hasn't kind of had the light of awareness shed upon it in this space? Lovely. So I'm just going to place this on your third eye now. very, very gently. It's a very comfortable stone to have there. Very comforting. So now I'm going to take this amethyst point and I'm going to kind of move through drawing some symbols and just sort of moving through that space. I'm doing a bit of plucking, a little bit of kind of rewriting even what we're seeing, what we're choosing to see, what we're consuming, what we're choosing to consume. Visually speaking, you know, what, like entertainment or media or whatever we're choosing to consume, because all of that gets stored in this space. So just bringing some awareness to maybe there are certain aspects of your day-to-day that could have some awareness brought to them and maybe think, oh, you know, I've been feeling a bit jumpy lately. This is just a very broad example, but I've been feeling a bit jumpy lately. Maybe it's because I watched Silence of the Lambs. I think it's the scariest movie of all time. I don't mean to bring a scary movie into this space. You're totally safe, and that's not here, and we'll remove that. But, you know, just kind of inviting some awareness, and I apologize if that was triggering for anybody. Just sort of saying, you know, are there ways I could sort of support my mental health that I haven't thought of or recognized or been aware of? And I know many of you are very intuitive, most of you, and in touch with these different aspects, and so maybe these practices are things you are already implementing, not being on social media or following accounts that make you feel bad, but rather filling that space with a kind of cultivated, healthful space that's inspiring and motivating and things. And also just sort of pulling out anything that might feel clogged or blocked. Okay. I'm just going to spray here. Great. And then on my hands. So now we're going to place this Lapis Lazuli. I love working with lapis. I think it's such an incredible stone, And I really, I think it's a beautiful stone to invite into work in the third eye. So first I'm just going to take this amethyst and we'll place this third eye, that lapis on the third eye. And I'd like to now move through with some clear chords. We're kind of doing a similar thing where we're just sort of drawing symbols and moving through. And for this, just kind of connecting with that real like deep intuition. Sort of opening up the pathway between vision and hearing, what we're kind of, inviting into that awareness of the intuitive, messages or guidance is coming in the form of, thoughts that feel very like you're hearing sentences, I guess, like, the thoughts kind of flow like that. Or if it's more, you're just saying visions or anything like that, but just sort of connecting all of that and also connecting it to the wisdom, the highest self. So we're doing almost like a little hat with these clear quartz, just drawing it. Crown, third eye kind of thing. Just tying in the ears here too. So there's that alignment. Opening ourselves up to the guidance of our intuition. Trusting that it's connected to our highest self. I'm going to light a little bit of sage, and the purpose of this is just to sort of have it smoldering away over here, so that once I start clearing, I'm going to begin clearing with the selenite tower. We can kind of pluck and pull out any blockages and just sort of cast them into the smoke. So I'm just gonna run it through the third eye, staying about a foot from you. So the third eye it's underactive, can feel very disconnected. You can feel very foggy, kind of cloudy, having a hard time focusing. If it is overactive, you can sometimes find yourself being kind of consumed by imagery, having a hard time staying in the present moment. Having difficulty remembering things. Or you can be kind of clinging on to certain things, obsessive thoughts, visions. Okay, so I'm going to place this over here. And we're just going to let that kind of smolder away over here. And then I'm going to take this selenite tower, and I'm just going to be pulling and plucking and then casting it. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's coming all the way up here. So we're going to be pulling it and then kind of casting it into that smoke. Okay. Just going to spray here, just to clear anything as we were pulling that out. I wanted to bring in this Labradorite. We've kind of talked a little bit about manifestation here. If you're new to this channel, welcome. From my perspective, I like to use manifestation just as kind of a getting to know you game with my inner self. A connection with that side of me to say, okay, what's my biggest dream if I didn't have limitations? What would my largest, my biggest dreams be? And to sort of acknowledge where I sometimes feel that I have self-imposed limitations, and just sort of recognizing those so I can work on them and move through them in my practice. So I like to use manifestation as kind of an exercise, and that's just from my perspective the way that I find it the most empowering for me. So I love to use Labradorite. I love to sync my manifestations with the moon and things like that. So those are just kind of some things I wanted to say before we touch on manifestation. This Labradorite is really nice. Again, a bit like beautiful kind of flashes of bluish green, bit of amber color in there as well in the flashes, but primarily this like shocking electric blue, which is really beautiful on such an unassuming stone. But again, this is a great stone for working in the third eye. And I just like to kind of move in here and kind of tap into those dreams, those things you want to manifest. I think for so many of us, we sometimes feel like we don't. The idea of our dreams coming true feels a bit like, oh, but that wouldn't happen to me, or I shouldn't even wish that. That's a bit of a waste of time or something. I'm definitely someone who has felt that way and had to move through it. But that if that is you, just know that you're so worthy of living the life that you imagine. You're so worthy of dreaming up your version of reality and living in that, whatever it might be. So if you want to take a moment here to just bring some awareness to what you might want, what your intuition and your that potential self might be calling you towards. It can be silly, it can be big, it can be seemingly impossible. Trying to move through the space of I'm worthy to dream, I'm deserving of these different, not necessarily goals, but yeah, like dreams. Goals, we'd focus more on the solar plexus and things, but for this, it's just sort of like whatever you can imagine, whatever you feel called to in that heart space for sure. Just kind of tapping those two together. So like what your soul most yearns for. Sure, it can be success or money. That's a very common one, huh? It can also be specific types of relationships. Yeah, you could say I want to manifest a partner who feels open, honest, trustworthy, kind, caring. Whose dreams are aligned with mine. You can manifest that. You can manifest a relationship with, a mentor. You could manifest all kinds of things, just sort of inviting in, because then you can have a great deal of clarity. So that it's easier for you to see when you're moving through your day-to-day life. Oh, okay. This thing is not in service of that dream that I want to manifest. Okay, this person that I want to manifest as a mentor, maybe I'll keep looking, or maybe I'll take this opportunity to do thus and such, because that might bring me closer to meeting the person that I'm trying to manifest here. I don't know. I feel very rambly today. I'm just going to draw the symbols on my hands and then place my hands on the third eye, right on your forehead here. I'm going to move through with some black kyanite and do some clearing. So we're going to take our little kyanite wing and we're just going to brush away. Brushing away any negative thoughts, any kind of all-consuming negative feelings, any distractions. We're just sort of like whoosh, whoosh. Any visions you no longer feel are in service of your most empowered self. Any thoughts that are no longer in service of your most empowered self. Okay. Feels great, feels so clear. I do have a few grounding stones here in the space just so that we can make sure that we're not getting too kind of up in the clouds here. So there are some grounding stones here. Now I'd just like to move through with a piece of howlite and a piece of fluorite. And I'm just going to move in the third eye, inviting balance, peace, harmony, calm, relaxation, and inviting in focus, cutting through any of that fog so that we can have both, kind of both sides of this. This can be more to kind of soothe any overactive third eyes out there. And this one to kind of activate and push through the cloudiness of an underactive third eye. So dual purpose, and the intention here is that whatever you are in need of, these will be in service of for you. Focus, clarity. When I use fluorite, I like to use it for kind of tapping into your priorities. So you're sort of focusing in on your priority and then stripping away anything that's not in alignment with that. Moving up around through the mental plane here. I feel this is, so now we've done the fluorite. So now that was for underactive. And now we're doing the howlite just to kind of close this out, to soothe and calm and relax. So I was gonna say this time, this season that we're in right now is very emotional, and Cancer is a very intuitive sign, right? It's very water sign, in touch with intuition, in touch with that inner guidance, inner wisdom, being led by a different kind of logic that's very subtle and very intuitive. So, playing around in the third eye here. It's kind of nice during this season. It's been a heavy season though, oh my goodness. big emotional virtual hug to everybody who has been dealing with a lot. I know many of you have been. Okay. I think soothing and cleansing and all of that is helpful. Even if you do have an underactive third eye, it's nice to just kind of soothe it. That it's okay, you're not doing anything wrong. It's okay. This is a great opportunity to just arrive with more presence. Great opportunity to get to know yourself a little bit better. You didn't do anything wrong. We're just moving through, everyone on their own path, but we're just flowing with it. Okay. Great. I'm just going to clear one last time. I'm going to use my little baby selenite. So cute. And just clear. Since we are working in the third eye, as we spoke about before, I would suggest maybe do a little bit of grounding work, because I didn't ground or use any stones for that, even though they are here in the room, in the space. I'd suggest, drink some water and then maybe squeeze and release your feet. Tense and release your leg muscles, your calves, your shins by kind of flexing your feet and spreading out your toes, maybe flexing and releasing your thighs, all that kind of stuff. I've been doing a lot of chair pose after doing this kind of work lately. I found that chair pose has been really grounding, especially during this season. I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so very much for clicking on this video, for being here and being so lovely and supportive. Again, I just feel so incredibly lucky that you're so amazing to each other. And I have been definitely brought to tears by your responses on other people's comments. I think it's so beautiful. I don't know. It really does make me feel so hopeful. I don't know. It just makes me feel really hopeful. That's like the best way to describe it right now. The way that I feel when I see those kinds of interactions. Yeah, and like really kind of healthy back and forth, even then when there's whatever. It's just awesome. I'm just really, really excited about this space, and I'm really inspired by you. Very, very, very inspired. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, I hope that you stay well, that you're feeling balanced, focused, aligned, and empowered. I hope. And maybe relaxed. Sending you all so much love and support. And until next time, be well.